Adrian, welcome to Mental Health Day.
Jeremy, it's really great to be here today to speak to you.
The first thing I want to ask you, Adrian, is could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey to this point?
I'm a primary school teacher. I teach part-time today. I run an organisation called Teachappy. But before I got to this stage, I was working in the music industry for several years. I had a good job, good friends, etc. And in my late 20s, I went through a period of really poor mental health that kind of came out of the blue. I went through a period of acute anxiety that led to a bout of depression. And as someone that is naturally optimistic, happy-go-lucky, like that period in my life really threw me. I hadn't experienced anything like it before. And I didn't know, and this was the kind of most worrying thing, I didn't know at the time how to help myself get better, feel better. I consider myself really lucky looking back. I had supportive friends and family that helped me through the worst of it. I had some counselling, which I found hugely beneficial. And then as I started to get better, I started to research causes of stress, anxiety, depression, to understand more about what I was experiencing. I learned loads about mental health that I just simply didn't know before. And I also discovered as part of that research, there was a science of well-being, which is sometimes described as the scientific study of what makes life worth living. And I found all of this fascinating, started to make changes to my own personal life, kind of lifestyle choices. And eventually it did lead me to change careers, to get into the classroom, to work with children in primary schools. And as well as teaching the national curriculum, I also wanted to teach children simple tools, skills that I'd learned as an adult that is good for our bodies and our minds that I wish I'd known growing up, that would have helped with these normal life challenges, moving from primary to secondary school, coping with exam pressure, falling out with friends, learning how to navigate all of those different journeys. And so that's kind of what's led me to kind of doing what I'm doing today, teaching, sharing the science of wellbeing through Teachappy, delivering training with teachers, parents, with the students themselves. That's kind of my journey today.
Adrian, that's incredible. I want to ask you, in terms of what's happening in the world, we know what's going on with the climate. We hear about nuclear weapons. We know about Gaza. We know about Sudan. We know about Ukraine. We know about violence in our communities. We know about, flags being posted everywhere. How do you think, what's the impact of all of this, and how are young people coping?
I think the impact is, even just listing those things, it makes you concerned. It makes you kind of worried about the future. And there are studies that show, particularly in the UK, the Good Childhood Report, which surveys thousands of children, asking them about various aspects of their lives. And one of the lowest scores is happiness with the future, just generally, how happy are you with the future that lies ahead of you? And young people, I think, are concerned because of all of these quite big crises, existential kind of things on the horizon. So I do think it has an impact on young people's mental health. I think it has an impact on adults' mental health. But the interesting thing is, there are also studies that show we've never in some ways lived at a safer time. We've never lived where there's been so much progress at the same time. And I think, we have this innate negativity bias where we're drawn towards the negative, and we're drawn to kind of pay attention to that more than the positive things in our lives. And so I think that is also at play. We go on social media and we're drawn to those negative stories. We're drawn to the kind of violent acts that are happening rather than the acts of kindness, rather than the acts of humanitarianism that's happening all across the world. So I think it's all kind of interlinked.
Very good point, Adrian. Can I ask you, tell us now about your organisation that you set up, your mission and your strategy for the future.
So my organisation is called Teachappy, and it's really to teach children, teachers and parents about the science of happiness, the science of well-being. So as I said, the scientific study of what makes life worth living. And I share that through courses. I've got a course aimed at children called The Seeds of Happiness. I deliver training in schools, at education conferences, all around kind of stepping back and assessing what is it that matters to us? What kind of lives do we want to lead? How can we help support ourselves and each other to kind of lead happy, fulfilling lives? And I've written books. Wellbeing in the Primary Classroom is one of them, a little guide to teacher wellbeing and self-care. And so really that's it. In education, we also know teachers under increasing levels of stress. Students are experiencing what we might call a mental health crisis. So really it's giving those practical, evidence-based strategies and tools to support children, teachers and parents with their mental health and well-being.
It's inspirational, Adrian, what you're doing. I'm sure everybody's telling you that, but what a wonderful mission, to be carrying out every day. Good for you. I want to ask you, do you think world peace, peace in the community, peace at home, does that start with inner peace?
I think it does. I think, we've got to know how to be kind of content, happy, kind, peaceful in our own minds and bodies before we can kind of extend that out to others. And that's why, happiness, one of the criticisms of focusing on our kind of happiness and well-being is that it feels like a selfish act. But actually, numerous studies show that when people experience high levels of well-being, they tend to be kinder, more altruistic, they tend to give more of their time, their energy, resources to other people. So I think it's one of the most generous things we can do is kind of take really good care of ourselves so we have more to give to other people.
Adrian, absolutely amazing. If people want to find out more about you, get in touch, do a course, read the book, what do we do?
So you can go to my website, teachappy with 1h.co.uk. I'm on Instagram and social media, often at Teachappy UK. My books are available kind of pretty much everywhere, online in bookshops. But yeah, reach out. I always love to connect online, social media, through my website. So yeah, get in touch, follow me, and I'll definitely respond if you reach out.
Well, I just feel happier speaking to you, like genuinely. It's incredible. Really good luck with everything you're doing.
Thanks, Jeremy, and keep up the great work, and happy World Mental Health Day to everyone out there.
That's what I do.